What's up, them tube? All right, and here we go, here we go, here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Once upon a time, not too long ago, a ghetto rapper had to smack a hoe. They think that is appropriate, but people like me are inappropriate, right? That's perfectly fine, you know. Once upon a time, not too long ago, a ghetto thug like me had to smack a hoe. Perfectly fine. But what I say, no, can't have that now, can we? Once upon a time, not too long ago, gangster rap music, smack a hoe. That's what they call high culture, yeah. But, you know, people like me, we're bad for society. Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Got a fire video coming out later. I love when I find the right song for the video. It's so much more powerful. And every now and then, I had a tough morning. I really couldn't get going. And, I woke up at 4:30. I went downstairs. I wound up falling back asleep. Took a shower. Didn't make anything creative. And then I found the perfect song for the right video. So, I'll get that out later today. Alright, let's go live here. Let's grab TikTok. Hip, hop, TikTok. We're going to the hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. All right, let's see. Know your rights, because I have a big announcement. All right, go live. 3, 2, 1. We are live wire. Thank you, Foster Bear. And hello, TikTok. You are here with YouTube. They were here for the pre-show because they are my people and they absolutely crush. It is a beautiful day here in the sunny south. The sun is shining. The sky is blue. There's some clouds and the sprinkler is going off, which means my trees are happy. Although there is a a half-eaten eggplant right next to me. And that pisses me off, because that means the squirrels have once again been stealing my food. Hello, Jennifer. Today, I have a big announcement, at least, something big in my journey as a content creator. And I wanted to talk a little bit about getting to know about teaching children their rights. And for those of you familiar with my work, I'm big into that, and I'm the author of the Cubs to Bears children book series. I've written books on even more than just rights. Yeah, the squirrels, I know. I've written books on, they're really about more than just your rights. They're about teaching children or familiarizing them with the different mechanisms of propaganda. So in The Right to Bear Arms, which is obviously a book about the Second Amendment, children don't just learn about the Second Amendment. They don't just learn about their constitutional liberty, but they actually learn how institutions such as the corporate media or the controllers, which Charisma Cat, our villain, represents, how those institutions will use weapons of propaganda like social shame in order to shame people, or in this case animals, into surrendering their God-given rights. So, in the book, The Right to Bear Arms, you have Charisma Cat and the News Roosters, who represent the mainstream media, and they report early in the book of skunk attacks left and right, skunk attacks day and night. The animals chanted in the streets, "The smell of skunk violence reeks." The skunks would give up their stink to show that they changed, right? And skunks having stink is no longer allowed. And the book goes on, and the goats give up their horns, and the lions give up their claws. And it's the animals surrendering their rights voluntarily. And the book even includes a false flag attack, a manipulation that the children in the lesson plan that comes with the book are prompted to investigate later on. So at one point in the book, the news roosters report of a rabbit attacked. The poor rabbit had bear claws across its back. And, of course, it was really done by Charisma Cat. And in the lesson plan, the children actually investigate. They look at, okay, how many claws does a bear have? How many claws does a cat have? Right? And then what do you think really happened to the bunny rabbit? And, of course, by the end of the book, Charisma Cat, she uses all of the weapons the animals had given up to attack them. She uses skunk smell and lion claws, and she attempts to take the forest. And there waiting for her is one of the bears, right? And a claw, a bite, and one big bear hook. Charisma Cat is frightened and shook, right? The cat tucked her tail and scurried away. The bears did not care what she had to say. Little bears, learn from your dads and your moms. You have a God-given right to bear arms, to protect yourself. And in this world, there are predators, unfortunately. In this world, that many of the institutions that we've been taught to trust actually have a predatory nature to them. They're corrupted by money. They're corrupted by the things that they're corrupted by. And greed, corruption, right? Power, social status. And it's more important than ever that we teach our children not only how to identify propaganda, but their rights. And that's why the last class that I taught, I do live classes. I do a class, I take a little break, do a class. And the last class I taught was on the Bill of Rights and the American Revolution. And we didn't just learn about the American Revolution. We started with the Bill of Rights, and then we go back in time. And we'd say, what did the Founding Fathers experience in their lives that made them think free speech was so important? What did they experience in their lives that made them think the Second Amendment was so important? Right? Because when you could put it in the context of, when Paul Revere wrote and said, the British are coming, the British are coming, people don't know why they were coming. King George had gotten so oppressive of the American colonists that he suspected they might want to try to break free from England. So he said, you know what? There was no war. He said, you know what? I'm going to send the English army in the middle of the night. He sent them at nighttime. This is in an age before electricity. And he said, go confiscate the guns. And at 10, 12 at night, when everyone's sleeping, the British army marched to go confiscate all of the firearms from a barracks. And, luckily, Paul Revere sees them coming and he hops on a horse, and the British are coming, the British are coming. Which is why when I teach the class, I say, the British are coming, the British are coming. Why are they coming? To take the guns, right? I mean, that wasn't really said, but that's what was happening. So someone in the crowd yells out, "What? The British are coming, the British are coming. Why are they coming? To take the guns." That's why they were coming, right? So when you say, oh, that was the experience of the Founding Fathers, and that's why the Second Amendment is in the Constitution, right? And teaching them history that way. And today I am going to be on a show, and this is really what it's talking about, teaching kids their rights. Today I'm going to be on a show of someone I really respect, someone that, and thank you Hardwood Bear for making it happen. There is a podcast that's one of the most censored, you gotta be careful with the words you say, one of the most suppressed, one of the most suppressed podcasts on the internet by Crow 77 Radio. It's CRROW777radio.com. And this guy is unbelievable. And the reason he's so in the shadows, right? The reason he's not allowed to operate within the mainstream system is he really does a lot of great work. Yeah, I'm going to be on Crow today. I'll be talking to him at 11. So I don't think he posts that live, but he'll be posting that this week, I'm sure. Maybe today, I don't know. But Crow, and this is why in Homeschools Connected, I link to all of the relevant episodes by Crow. Crow does a lot of work in teaching people about CRROW 777 radio. And Crow does a lot of really great work with teaching people how the system really functions, right? So I'm going to try to break this down as simple as I can. I can't get too into this, but I'll break it down as simple as I can. So when you're born, right, you get what? You get a birth certificate. If you look at that birth certificate, your name, same thing on all your legal documents. You go to court, right? Your name is written in big capital letters, right? No, he has his own servers. Crow has been in this game for a long time. He has a lot of supporters. He's the type of guy that if he wasn't so kept down, would be the type of guy that got, 10 million views, everything he put out. This guy's incredible. He doesn't get that because he is suppressed, but he has a ton of support, enough support that he actually owns his own servers. So www.crow777radio.com, CRROW 777radio.com. And so anyway, so you're born and you have this all cap name, right? And the reason for that is when you are issued that certificate, you are people say it's a corporation. That's actually incorrect. What happens is a trust account is created by a certain revenue service. A trust account is created in your name, right? And that trust account is that all caps name. And that is actually from a perspective of that branch of the government when you're in court, right? I just have to be careful how I say these things. From that perspective, that is actually, that all caps name is actually a separate entity than yourself, right? A straw man, correct. Right. So there are people that are aware of this and they actually teach others. Yes, I'm a Christian. They actually teach others how to separate their straw man, their all caps name, from the individual that they really are. A man or a woman created in the image of God. Now, for those of you that aren't religious or whatnot, you're like, oh, but why does it have to be God? You're not understanding. Don't think of it from religion. All of our codes, all of them, right? They derive, you have to understand the epistemology of them and where they come from. They come from, right, all of the codes. When you go sit in front of a judge, right, the epistemology, they come back from the Bible and they come back, right? So the legal system, you can't get away from it, right? So it's part of the reason why I think they attack God so much, right? Because when you can reestablish that you are an individual under God, right, then you revert back to the original jurisdictions outside of your straw man. This is the coding of our legal system. I know this is complex stuff, all right? If you've never heard this, right, don't tune it out. Understand, like, when I say this stuff, this all goes back. This goes back thousands of years, how this stuff develops, right? It's the same concept where, and again, like when I say this stuff, I don't just talk about this stuff. I have friends. Like when you do what I do, you get contacted by some really interesting people. Okay, I have friends that, yes, Owen Benjamin's the man. I have friends who live in a separate jurisdiction than you do, under separate codes than you live. Not because you can't, but because they've done the research and they understand how to do that. And you have to be very responsible to do that, because if you slip up, the system will spank you, okay? So, this is why, like, Crow is, pushed down. They can't have the masses being able to do this stuff, right? It gets into, like, the town you live in is, right, like the incorporated town of, think about the town you live in. Is it just a town, or is it the incorporated town of blah? Most people live in the incorporated town of blah. What does that mean? Why is it the incorporated town? It means there's multiple jurisdictions. It means there was the jurisdiction under the Constitution of the United States of America, and then there was the sneaky way of getting around that by incorporating, not just towns, they incorporated the United States of America, which is why in 1871, with the passage of the Organic Act, the District of Columbia was created, which operates under a different jurisdiction than the rest of the country, right? Everything is jurisdiction. Your name, your straw man, your capitals are jurisdiction. The town you live in is jurisdiction. And when the authoritative bodies that govern us attempt to do things to you, if you fall under their jurisdiction, then they have the authority to do those things to you. If you are responsible enough and knowledgeable enough to operate, to show that you operate outside of that jurisdiction, or rather, if I worded it correctly, if you are capable of forcing them to prove that they have jurisdiction over you, they have to prove that you live under their jurisdiction. And when you are really capable of doing these things, they're not capable of proving that, because you're not. The reason we fall under their jurisdiction is because people don't know this stuff, and people accept that they fall under this jurisdiction. Right? So anyway, that's as far into it as I'm going to get today. But I am going to be on Crow 777 Radio today at 11 a.m. I don't think he posted live, so I don't know if he'll post it later today or later this week or when that will happen. But I'm very excited about it. And I've never been nervous to be on a podcast. But I have so much respect for Crow that, like, I'm like a little giddy about it. To be on Crow. This is big deal. Big deal. So I'm excited about it. I'll do my best to represent our community and what we do, and to really spread the educational philosophy that I try to spread. And, when I spoke with Crow, I told him, I was like, listen, I link directly to your stuff right in Homeschools Connected. And I actually spoke to him about potentially taking his podcast and actually making lesson plans out of his interviews with these knowledgeable people. So that could be something that happens down the pike, as I like to tell my wife, and not down the pipe, down the pike. So, it's something we are, anyway, I'm very excited about it. So I'm going to go back, answer your questions, and, thank you, Melissa, for what I do, www.classicallearner.com, Homeschools Connected, and yes, I will say Miss Classical Learner does acknowledge that I'm hilarious. Miss Classical Learner. So, so classicallearner.com, Homeschools Connected, and it's $10 a month with the discount code FREEDOM. And I'm going to do a quick stream here because I gotta take a little break beforehand. I need to make sure my phone is fully charged because we're going for 2 hours. Crow does 2 hours an episode, and From there, well, I just want to make sure that I'm on my game. Yes, CRROW777radio.com. And again, if you really want to learn your rights, if you really want your children to learn their rights, then what he does is just, it's an invaluable resource. And that's why I linked to all his stuff in Homeschools Connected. And hopefully when I have some time, I could actually start building out lessons related to that. Because the truth is that our children should have experience filing affidavits, which is the record of the matter. An affidavit is the record of a matter. And if you file an affidavit and no one is willing to file their own affidavit, discounting what you said, then what you said in that affidavit is the record, right? So it's like all our children should have experience filing affidavits. They should have experience filing notices of liability, right? Saying that if you transgress on my rights, then I have put in writing that I am going to hold you or your institution monetarily and possibly criminally liable for your actions, right? These are notices of liability. This is not legal advice. I'm not a lawyer. Our children should be familiar with how to file conditional consents, where if, for instance, if an institution tries to pressure you to do something that you're uncomfortable with, in a lot of cases, you don't want to refuse, because if you refuse, you are considered to be belligerent in a court. I know, this is tough. But if you can file a conditional consent, you put the onus back on them. Hey, I would be happy to do what you want me to do. If you can show me a double-blind study over a 20-year period of time showing that this is effective, that this is safe and effective and has no long-term effects. Now you put the onus back on them, and because you're doing this with paperwork, now you are shifting the liability, right? Do you see how powerful this stuff is? So, our children should know how to do this stuff. Never do this stuff until you have really, 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 really researched and known your stuff. Never, okay? Trust me, I know what I'm talking about here. If you go in like an amateur, they will roll you up. I just got a text from Verizon saying they upgraded us to 5G. Yeah, look, there's no getting around it. I mean, the world's going to 5G, so it is what it is. They make bracelets and stuff that you could wear that allegedly helps with protection from the radiation. How do we start the process of separating ourselves? You do a lot of research. Go back and watch Crow's episodes. In Homeschools Connected, I literally have episodes by number. But start doing that. Then you got to do a lot of research. This isn't something you do overnight. This is something you educate your children in from the time they're young. And then when they're adults, if they decide to go that route, they have the knowledge to do it. Do I have a bear name? Yeah, I'm Classical Learner Bear. Come on, man. Classical Learner Bear, man. Where can we watch Crow? Crow 777 Radio. It's 2R, CRROW.com. You have to type that right because there's an impersonator of him that created a whole website, I think using just the 1R. And they steal his stuff, I think, and try to make him look bad. It's you know, there's a lot of subversion on the internet. I'm in the USA. USA. Best group I've ever joined. Thank you. Thank you. And you guys make the group. It's I really just built it out and I didn't know exactly what it would be, and I guess because the nature of my message, I attract high consciousness people, and because of that our group really is amazing. My kids asked to be homeschooled, and it's so tempting. It'll be the best decision you've ever made. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure you've made some good decisions in your life, but it will be a good one. I'm going to be on Crow 77 Radio. 77 Radio, Marine. So, all right, guys, I think I'm going to call it a stream on that. I don't want to go too long today because, like I said, I got to talk for 2 straight hours starting at 11. So, that's a lot of talking. So, www.classicallearner.com, Homeschools Connected, discount code FREEDOM, all lowercase. And I'll be back at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow to earn my freedom, as we have to earn it every day. So, all right, guys. This has been fun. I've got to run, and I don't know if he'll post that today, but whenever he does, I'll be sure to let everyone know. I will now do a 10-second count off as I casually drink the soothing aroma. Now I'm just speaking gibberish. Coley, one of our eggplants is half eaten and it's on the floor right here. They're stealing our eggplants now. Stealing our eggplants. I know, Marine, you can't drink an aroma. You smell an aroma. I always knew I'd be trolled. I didn't think it would be by you. I didn't think it would be by you. E.T. phone home.